Welcome. I'm Cassidy Cash. This is That Shakespeare Life. And this week, we're going to take a look at bananas in Shakespeare's England. Did Shakespeare eat bananas? Let's find out right now on That Shakespeare Life. So ultimately, the really quick and short answer here is that no, Shakespeare would not have eaten bananas. But did you know why? So, bananas didn't actually arrive in England until 1633. That's almost 17 years. Actually, I think it's exactly 17 years after Shakespeare's death. But that doesn't mean bananas were wholly unknown. Europe, in general, knew about bananas before this time period. They were grown in places like the Canary Islands and traded into Portugal and Spain from as early as the 15th century. So, English travelers who went to some of these places wrote about seeing bananas on their different journeys. But the fruit itself was rare and it was considered outside of or didn't make its way into, I guess would be the way to say it. It didn't come into English markets until the 17th century. So Shakespeare could have known about bananas. He could have heard about them from travelers or certainly read about it in some of these documentations that the travelers were writing in England. But he himself would never have eaten a banana because they weren't available for him to be able to do that. What he would have had, though, in terms of exotic fruit, was the orange. And interestingly, the orange in Shakespeare's day wasn't like the juicy, sweet orange juice kind of juice fruit that we think about today when we talk about oranges. There were actually several different kinds of oranges for Shakespeare's lifetime, and some of them would actually be bitter or sweet. And you see them a lot in paintings from this time period because they were culturally important for Shakespeare's lifetime. We dive into that history and explore exactly why oranges were culturally important for Shakespeare, as well as the ways that they ate them and prepared them in our podcast episode with Dorian Fuller, who is an archaeobotanist. He specializes in the history of plants, including oranges, and he talks with us about the orange's place, arrival, and use for Shakespeare's lifetime. You can hear this entire conversation at cassidycash.com/episode 115. I'll place a direct link to that below this video. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed learning a fun little tidbit about Shakespeare and whether or not he would have eaten bananas. You now will be able to answer a fun trivia question whenever this comes up in your future Shakespeare conversations. Thank you for watching. I'm Cassidy Cash, and I hope you learned something new about the Bard. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.